Hello snowboarders of the internet, I'm your host Avran LeFeber, and in this video we're going to be reviewing the Capita Ultrafear Camber. This board features Capita's Resort V1 camber profile, which is camber to just past the inserts, flat to right before the tip kick, and then you get a little micro reverse, aka rocker, in the tip and the tail. So basically what that's going to give you is the load and pop of traditional camber underfoot, a bigger sweet spot to really press and play with, and then you've got this little micro rocker that helps engage with the ease of entry in and out of turns. This board's available in 147, 149, 151, 153, 155, 157, 153 wide, and 155 wide. I rode this board at Copper Mountain on a day that was blue and gray skies, turning gray and snowing. You had chopped chunder, ice, perfect corduroy. You know, it's just kind of like a mix of all conditions, and I rode it with my Rome Black Label binding and my K2 Thraxis boots. The overall flex of this board comes in just a hair below middle of the road. As it is a park board, you get that typical park flex. Softer tips, big sweet spot, stiffer through the middle with a lot of torsional flex, but there's some good rebound, so it does snap back. When it comes to stability, you got some cool things going on in the edge with that cork dampening. That does absorb some micro vibrations when you're on edge, as well as direct impacts if you set down on a rail when you're jibbing. What you will notice is that you do get flap in the nose, but a lot of that is killed off with that dampening that they've got going on in this board before it hits the front foot. You're still gonna feel it, that's to be expected, so be aware of that. When you get into really rutted out terrain, you want to keep your knees bent. It's a soft flexing board. If you don't understand that, well, now you do. Overall, for a jib board like this, it's moderately stable. While this isn't the snappiest board out there, it's consistent, so you don't really have to worry about it. What I like about this is you get a 3-point load. So you weight the camber, roll back, engage the flat section, roll back a little further and get that micro reverse camber rocker in the tail. And what that does is it springs from there, so you do get a little bit more pop. What you put in, you can count on getting just a hair more out of this board, which makes it nice for getting up and over things or boosting off a side hit. While it isn't the snappiest, as I said, it's consistent, so you know what you're getting. When it comes to jumps, small and medium features are really where it stands out. Anything more, you're gonna want something stiffer and snappier. Now, with that said, when you load up on a jump, you're gonna get some solid pop for what it is, and if you land in the back seat, it doesn't wheelie out like the reverse version does, which is nice because you can actually set it down and ride away. Basically, small, medium jumps, fine. As I said, when you really start to push it to a bigger feature, you're gonna notice the limitations. This board can butter. You got that big sweet spot where that flat section is into that micro reverse, and so when you leverage your weight outside your bindings, it really presses and holds, and then when you want to disengage with a little flick of the ankle, you get snap out of it. This is a board designed for swizzling and sizzling, getting sideways, popping 180s, pressing into it, popping a 180 back out, not worrying about it. When it comes to jibbing, ultimate sweet spots. They lock in, they hold till you hit the end of the feature, and then once again, with very minimal movement, you get that snap out and you're gonna be able to pop. When you go sideways, that camber hugs right around the feature, and you really feel secure on it, and you don't have to worry about it. If you know how to jib, you're gonna have a great time with this board. If you don't know how to jib, it's gonna teach you how to have a great time with this board. This board can park carve, and by that, I mean you get a very fluid edge-to-edge power transmission. It feels secure and smooth. You do steer a little bit more underfoot, so closer to the insert packs. And when you really want to crank this board, you have that camber to help drive it off the tail, so you can lay it over. So if you're like trying to like carve under a feature, or you're carving around a family of fat skiers that wandered into the park, you can lay a Euro carve with it. You'll learn the limitations, but once you do, you know exactly how you can set this up and turn with it. It's those quick, tight setup carves and medium mellow carves where this board truthfully shines, which is about what all you need from a park board like this. Who's this board for? The fun, freestyle focused guy. It's been a hot minute since I've been on this board, and it feels a little bit stiffer, which is good because it differentiates itself from the Pathfinder, but it's not as stiff as, say, a DOA or an indoor survival. So what you get is like that fun, playful board with a little bit of response to it. Overall, it's consistent with what it gives you. It makes no qualms about it. One thing I would note is from out of the wrapper till the end of the day when I was riding this thing, I noticed that it was breaking in and getting softer. So obviously if you're gonna ride it for a whole season, it's gonna be softer at the end of the season, just like any other board. So I do think there's probably about a 10-day break-in period on this where you're gonna be like, oh, this is great. And then you're gonna be like, oh, it's a little softer than I thought. So just be aware of that. Overall, great board for what it is. And like I said, it's just consistent, which is what you want. You want a board you can get on and know that it's gonna consistently snap. What I like about it is the camber profile versus the reverse. This is a little more precise, that's a little bit more loose. Comparable boards, the LibTech Off-Ramp, the Battalion Disaster, the Ride Kink. Binding recommendations, the Union Ultra, the Bent Metal Joint, the Rome Vice. This has been my review of the Capita Ultrafear Camber. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you own one? Are you gonna buy one? Leave me a comment down below. Let's have a conversation about this snowboard. If you're new here, remember to subscribe, click the bell, get those notifications. That way you're not missing any of the videos we got coming out for all you snowboarders of the internet. And if you really like what we're doing over here, do you wanna support us further? Swing on over to Angry Snowboarder VIP and become a member. Sure, I could tell you more here, but I got a video over there that explains it so much better. As always, I've been your host, Avran LeFeber, and I'll see you in another video.